Hello, my name's Peter Watkins, and I just wanted to say a few words about inductive and deductive teaching and learning, because inductive and deductive are terms that people sometimes find confusing and even counterintuitive. So let's start with deductive teaching. Deductive teaching is, if you like, rule-first teaching. So a teacher may say to a class, okay, the present perfect simple is formed with has or have plus a past participle, and we use it to talk about things that happened in the past at an unspecified time. The learner's job is then to take that rule and create their own sentences and utterances based on the rule that they've been given. So we work from a rule to the learners producing examples based on that rule. Inductive teaching, on the other hand, works the other way round. So the learners are given examples, and from those examples they try to work out the grammar pattern or the meaning of an item of vocabulary or whatever is being taught. Sometimes those examples may be very carefully selected and even have accompanying questions. For example, things like, well, what sort of word follows has or have? Do you know exactly when this action took place? Those sorts of things. So the learners are supported, guided towards discovering the meaning and form of the piece of language that they're working on. In this case, inductive teaching is still explicit teaching because a grammar point has been selected and is very consciously and very deliberately worked on. Inductive learning, though, need not always be as explicit as that. If you think about a learner whose grammar system, for example, develops through exposure to the language, for example, they may do a lot of reading or they may hear a lot of the language and their grammar system develops, they're not deliberately focusing on any particular grammar point at any given time, and therefore the learning is far more implicit. The advantages of inductive learning and teaching are that the rule may be more memorable. Where there's a rule explicitly stated, then it may be more memorable because the learners have invested that cognitive effort in trying to work it out. It may also be that inductive learning and teaching fosters learner autonomy, because learners can work things out without necessarily recourse to the teacher, without relying on the teacher for everything. And because quite often learners work in pairs or small groups to try to work out rules, it can foster a sense of cooperation and support in the classroom. One of the downsides, though, of inductive learning and teaching is that it can be quite time consuming. On the other hand, deductive teaching can be very quick and efficient. So it's probably not the case that one is superior to the other. In fact, it's probably important that teachers can use both, and which one is more appropriate may depend on all kinds of things. For example, the learner's age, the learner's expectations, whether the grammar point has been pre-selected for treatment, for example, it's part of a grammar syllabus, or whether the teacher is trying to teach a grammar point reactively in response to what the learners have produced in the classroom. So it's certainly not the case that one is necessarily better than the other. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say, so thank you very much for listening.